I'm usually not that fragile, but I fell down the other day, and my family had a bad reaction to my fall. I didn't take it. Well, to see this crowd and to see what's going on here between alumni, between the students, between the parents, and whoever's here visiting, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. I arrived here in 1942. Anybody before that, raise their hand. In 1942, we had limited space, limited dormitories. As a matter of fact, I was one of the ones chosen to find a room on my own. So a few of us went and found a place down the road at the Weeks Farm. I don't know if it still exists even. But Farmer Weeks had a big cow barn, and he built on the top of that cow barn 5 rooms for 10 students. Downstairs, it was 2 rooms for 5 cows. Let me tell you, if you people have anything to complain about how the air is in your room, try living with 5 cows for a while. Yeah, that's how I started at UConn. Of course, by the time we get back after the war, we were back here on the GI Bill of Rights. Things had changed considerably, and the school had grown considerably, and we had opportunity to educate ourselves at people that the young men and women in the past didn't have any opportunity. When you consider that my group went to UConn for $62.50 a semester. $40 for your room, $40 for your meal tickets, and that was it. My father, may he rest in peace, when I got ready to go to school, he told me quietly, he said, the only thing I can afford is $10 a week, and that's what I went to school on. $10 a week plus what you worked on during vacations or whatever else. But that was it. Of course, the GI Bill of Rights saved us all. But we come forward now, where do we go from there? We had no Hillel. We had no Jewish identity. We had 3 Jewish fraternities, but no religious environment, no Jewish environment on campus at all.
It was above Mars.
He doesn't want me to get bitten because I haven't paid my whole pledge yet. He's a good guy. But what was happening, of course, is that there wasn't any Jewish environment. I came from a Orthodox kosher home, lived on campus for 4 years, eating tuna fish and egg salad. I really didn't know whether I was a chicken or a fish. But that's what we had. And when the opportunity came to improve the conditions here on campus, for those that were interested in keeping any part of their tradition or any part of kashrus or whatever, I was approached by a fellow named Jay Rubin, who was one of the executives at Hillel in Washington at that time, who also had come from New Haven, where we were good friends, with the idea of putting a kosher kitchen on UConn campus. First, I didn't know how to make of it, but they sent one of the people from the university came to visit me in Florida and said, the school will split with you. Go half and half, and we'll put a kosher kitchen in there. This I never heard of in my life, that someone was going to split the cost with me. So actually, we had to take advantage of that. As a matter of fact, we had lunch once in a while with President Austin, and I had lunch with President Austin today, and this is the first time I walked away from lunch. It didn't cost me a nickel.
Long way at last.
He means I didn't get away yet. But that was the beginning. But we came here and dedicated the kitchen, worked hard, took a long time, and it did a wonderful job. But I realized, and other people realized as we walked down the hill, that the Hillel House was about ready to fall apart. It was not a place where the kids were going to come to meet with each other, not a comfort home, not as we call a home away from home. And so the first time I opened my mouth, I knew I was in trouble because they picked up on it, and we had a committee, and we had a group, and we met, and whoop, we're going to build a house. And of course, I ran into Henry Zachs at that time, who was a dynamic person, as we all know. And once he got his hooks into me, there was no out. Matter of fact, he was the one that invited me down to a lunch in Boca Raton. That was the most expensive lunch I've ever had in my life. And we know you were there. We know you were there, President Austin. But that little meeting was when we encountered it, and when they approached me to give me what they thought was the opening shot, it was like a shot. They said to me, somebody has to kick it off, and we need a commitment for $1 million. I sat there stunned. So I looked over to my financial secretary, and I got one of these. That means, go ahead, go for it.
And who was that person, Dad?
Who was
your
that?
financial secretary?
So Shirley. So with trial and tribulation, we got forward, went through different ideas. Should we knock the building down? Should we restructure the building? Should we this? Should we that? And then we looked around. We found one among us, as was said before, who was an architect, a builder, a clerk of the works, a schmearer, everything you want, and took over in charge. And for that, I give my thanks and appreciation to Henry, without whom this building would never be up. And of course, my son David put a little work into this, helping Henry and trying to keep Henry under control, which is impossible. But we thank you, Henry, for that. And we thank you all for coming, and we appreciate the support that we've had for Hillel and continue to have, because one of the things you have to take into consideration, when we talked about this building in here, we were talking about 800-900 Jewish students on campus. To the best estimate I received last week, there are approximately 2,000 Jewish kids on campus. And it'll continue to grow as long as money becomes a factor in where you're going to send a kid. But our budget is short, about $200,000 a year for programming for the additional kids. We have to take into consideration, we have to increase the budget, and we have to take care of the endowing the building. So please help us wherever you can. And thanks again for coming. Here's Henry.
Well, I tell you, that is a hard act to follow. I just want Morris to know that if he wants to rent a parking space, it's $350 a semester. We have 19 spaces. We have 4 open. So if anyone of the students wants to rent the space, we're there. I can tell you that David Trachten has been amazing. Gary's been amazing. The contractors have been amazing. This would not have happened without the full cooperation of everyone, including the University of Connecticut. And if you look out there and dream, we now have 3 acres of land, and someday we're going to have a Hillel dorm. We do need money for annual campaign, and Morris is right, $200,000. We will, when this thing is over, have $1 million in endowment. We need 3 or 4 that will help us finance that dorm. And I thank you all for coming. It's been a wonderful experience. This is the 2nd Hillel that I've built. I hope to build a few more before I'm done with it. I've got 2 or 3 in mind in Connecticut. And this is a wonderful facility, and Gary is doing a fabulous job. And UConn is a great, great place. I'm sorry I didn't go to UConn. I only went to law school for 3 months. But it's been a lot of fun, and I thank you for coming.
When I get to stand up on a podium after 2 amazing individuals, now you understand why I love doing the work that I do. If it's not for the students, it's definitely for the community. But this is a house opening. It's an opportunity for us to have fun, as David Trachten and the rest of the committee would say as we were building this. This isn't a day about formalities. It's a day about partying, enjoying, and doing what our students do here every single day. So I have 2 mezuzahs, and they need to go up on a wall. So Morris and Henry, they have wonderful blessings and everything are with them ready to go. If you wouldn't mind helping us, putting them up onto the doors so we have something ready to go for when we enter, that will be amazing. And Jonathan Lucan, a former voice major student of ours, will lead us all in the Shechianu prayer if we would like to do it. At the same time, I encourage all of you to walk through the building. If you look on your sides, you'll see a multitude of students. Learn from them, talk to them, and ask them to tour you through this building. The jazz will continue to play, the bars continue to be open, the foods continue to be passed, so please walk with us inside, let's hang these mezuzahs and let's have a good time. So thanks all for coming.